Bhagavad Gita chanting, Chapter 10, verses 21 to 30.
आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुशिखरिणामहम् पुरोधसां च मुख्यं मां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिम् सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः महर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्म्येकमक्षरम् यज्ञानां जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम् प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहम् मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। From 19 to 38, description of how you can see the supreme manifestation. How Brahman is manifesting in the world. That's what he is explaining here from 19 onwards. 19 he says, an actual description starts from 20. Now what is interesting is, when he is explaining about lot of things, we'll find Krishna referring only to the best of everything. He will take only what is the great, the highest. Or he will choose one particular. Of that, he will say, I am this. Of that, I am that. So obviously, one quick question will come. So you mean to say you are not in the other places? Right. So for example, of all the rishis, I am Phrigu. Of the divine sages, I am Narada. Do you mean to say that he is not there in other places? Right. No, that is not the meaning of it. But then why he is speaking in this language? That is interesting. That's what we need to understand. Why he is choosing one particular, and in that, why he is choosing the highest, the greatest and the best in that lot. Like of all tennis players, I am Federer. Oh, you are not Djokovic then. It's not like that. Of all the chess players, I am Anand. Kasparov. Right. Now we keep changing this. Now why he is giving this language is because this idea itself is why this expression is spoken of. To whom these expressions were explained, stated. What is the agenda? What is the purpose? So to whom it is addressed and for what purpose these manifestations were explained. That is the context. If you keep the context in the backdrop, then it will be easier. Otherwise, it will not be easier for you. Otherwise, we will ask this quick question. So remember, any teaching of the master, particularly when it comes to what is the effort you have to put in, sadhana means dependent on the student. What the student is, the effort will vary. There is no one formula they give for everyone. There is no such thing. Of course, basic formula they will say. You go to anyone, they will say Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. These are all basic ones. But when a student approaches the master with the specific ones, there will be a specific advice given. That specific advice depends upon what is the position of the student and what sort of effort he has to put in. So it's all dependent on the student. So what is the position of the student here? Krishna has already stated where he can see God. But Arjuna's point is, even though you say that I am not able to see you, even though you are there, it's like 2 days back, right? Afternoon I got a call, half asleep, right? Got a call, I had to attend to the call. So I picked up the call and the lady started speaking, and that voice was, very much familiar to me. The voice is very clear. This, I'm hearing that voice. I said it sounds so this one, but I couldn't place it. Who is that? After some time, she said, "Do you remember? I met you at Ananda. This one, that one, and all." She started all that. Oh, I said, yes, yeah. Tell me. Now, do I have a problem in recognizing her or not? Of course, I am able to recognize. I am not having any problem in understanding what she is saying I could recognize her, I can interact with her, I am doing all that. Even though I am doing all those things, but there is one issue. What is it? I couldn't place her with where I met her, what is the context. That I am not having. See, that I forgot. So all that I have to do now is what? Recollect. Remember the context. Same way, Arjuna is asking to Krishna, I don't have any problem transacting with the world. I could see that. Every time I see a beautiful mountain, I should be reminded of what? I see that mountain, I see the beauty, but there is no reference I have for God. The moment you see a mountain, you should be reminded of what? Such a mountain only Balaji is there now. Tirupati. You see this mountain, but then you are reminded of what? You go to ocean, you see the waves, you go to the beach, you are enjoying the beach. When you see the beach, what is it that you are supposed to be reminded of? Immediately you should make a connection. What is the connection? You see the moon. What is the connection? You don't have a problem transacting with moon. You don't have a problem transacting with the waves. You transact with it. As you are transacting with the ocean, you should be reminded of Amrita Matana. Should be reminded. Then there is a meaning in that. This is what Arjuna wants. See that? Arjuna is not having any problem in establishing this. So, if he has to connect it like this, he needs something to trigger him to connect to Brahman, God. If he has to connect it to God, then what is needed? Reminders are needed. Those reminders has to be of that of Amrita Matana. You should be reminded of what? Should be reminded of Sridevi coming, Amrita coming, or the Visha coming. That episode, you should remember what first? In Ramayana, you should remember what? Sita abduction. Sita being harassed by Ravana, this fellow Rakshasas and all. What is it that you are supposed to be reminded of? Now, this is what Arjuna's problem is. Arjuna wants to be reminded of, but that remembrance of God should be giving him what? Pleasantness or unpleasant fear. It should trigger what? He wants to have a pleasant memories. Right? So he is asking this. So since that is the purpose, and Krishna has to explain it in the language where it will help him. That's why he is giving the details. All, positive details he goes on giving. One by one he starts from verse 20 onwards, 20 to 38, he will just keep going. I am in this, I am this, in this, I am this, in this, I am this. This will go on and on and on. But in the beginning itself he says, there is no end to my detailing. There is no end to it. This is one. Along with that, what you need to realize is the agenda of this particular level of the student is Arjuna has already stated his position very clearly. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna has already stated that. Krishna, you are talking about mind and all those things, but mind by nature is what? At least to his understanding, mind means what? Chanchala. There is no consistency, steadiness, focus. Such a mind needs to be trained to be focused. So for that training, what is to be done? That is what this 10th chapter is all about. The entire chapter is to provide you that training to the mind, to keep its faculties, the mental faculties to gain that focus. What they call as aikagri, call it as chitta aikagri. So one is chitta shuddhi. Through the practice of karma yoga, you get chitta shuddhi, purification of the mind happens. Focus, if you want to develop, you have to sit for this one. There, the thoughts will move. Now also thoughts are moving, isn't it? And now it's not that you are not getting any thoughts. So thoughts will come. But that now the thoughts are moving not in one specific direction. Multiple things directed to one. Now I am transacting in the world multiple things, but even though I am transacting with the multiple things, I should be able to get a single pointed focus. So anything you look into, you will find the highest one in that, the best quality there. Wherever you go, you look in for the best. And then that best is linked to God. So what is happening? All thoughts automatically run towards God. Constant practice of this. So therefore this portion is designed for what now? This portion is designed for Upasana, for your mental practice. There is no philosophy here. Barring this, the initial few. And here and there we will explain one or two things. Right? But essentially this is designed, this portion is meant for you to have this practice. Any transaction you have, you immediately try to establish a link. Is it if you are of this person, you see a mountain, you should be reminded of what? If you are a Shiva devotee, you should be reminded of any mountain you see. Nandi hills you go, you should be reminded of what? Shiva, Kailash. Isn't it? The moment you see the ocean, you should be reminded of this. You see the moon, you should be reminded of Shiva. So that's why anything you transact with in the world, they've always connected to God. Some link they will establish. Chandra will be linked, somehow they will link it to Vishnu, somehow he will be linked to Shiva. Something they will have a link, somehow, in everything. So that is the agenda here. The details are given to us so that variety of transactions you can have, but in and through all those transactions you can maintain that single pointed focus. But don't go and tell anyone. Right? Every time I see the ocean, I am reminded of Amrita Matana, and I see this, I am reminded of Himalayas, Kailash, and all that. You just remind yourself and leave. That's That's it. Don't tell out. This is not to tell people. Here he just gives this. Details were given because first one, this great details brings soothness. It soothes your mind. Number one. Only when the mind is soothed, when it is pleased, there is a possibility of focus. A disturbed mind cannot be having focus. So therefore he gives the details. So like that we explore why he is giving such details. So like that we can go on exploring the reasons for Krishna to be, or sort of giving justifications for such explanation with such detailing. Why he is going like this, why he is going like that, that you have to keep on exploring. This you can do as your reflection. But the verses per se is not designed for reflections and all that. So there sometimes you may not be even understand what is he referring to. You can't connect it. But he says, this is what I am, this is what I am, this is what I am. Why? Because you are the best of the Kurus. Since Arjuna, you are the best among the entire clan of the Kurus, including Pandavas and Kauravas put together, their clan is referred to as Kuru. He says, you are the Kuru Sreshta. You are the best. Arjuna, you are having the name as though you are the best. But what you have to understand is, you are best only in one. In fact, he is going to say that later. Amongst the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. That is also not yours. You are having only one. I will tell you where all I am best. Says, all the best in the world is me. Why? Because since he is the best, he can connect only to the best. Another reason. Why Krishna is giving only the best in everything? Because he is speaking to Arjuna, who is the best. That's why he gives him the title. Why Krishna calls him in verse 19, I will declare to you my divine glories in chief, O best of Kurus. Kuru Sreshta. You are the best in that Kuru. Listen to me. Since he is the best, he will look up to only who is more best than him. You see, if he goes on referring to all the ordinary things, Arjuna can't relate because he is a class. So depending upon your level, you will interact. You can connect only to those things. See, you will fix your level actually. All of us have our own levels, in everything. Whether it is, material or physical or intellectual or intelligence-wise, you take anything in the world. We have a position. You can connect only to that position. You can't relate to others. It's not possible. It's to do with your positioning as what you are, what you think yourself to be. Now, as far as Arjuna is concerned, he is the best. Amongst whom? The entire. And he has proved it time and again. He is the best. So there is no dispute. Undisputedly, he will be called as the best. Because you can never find a fault on Arjuna. Bhima, you can find fault. Yudhishthira, you can find fault. Nakula, you can find fault. Sahadeva, you can find fault. You can find fault with all those fellows. Each one has their own limitations. They have their own, limitations interpretations and opinions and all those things. One fellow who never had any one of those things in the entire Mahabharata character, no fault, is a faultless character. Even killing of Karna, the vow was not taken by Arjuna. Bhima takes the vow on behalf of Arjuna. He says, since my brother has taken that vow, I will follow that. Fascinating stand. Not that he was not, Yudhishthira is a different character. Bhima different character. Arjuna is a person who had tremendous glory, but still so balanced, so poised. That's the greatness of Arjuna. That's why Krishna gave this knowledge to him. So since you are the best, he needs only the best. Now all of us believe ourselves to be the best. That is a different thing. Each one of us will have a sacred belief, no? Isn't it? Sir, I may not know Vedanta, but stock market I know. Isn't it? This I may not know. But with reference to internet Allah, I am the best. Da Vinci, no? Da Vinci. Da Vinci, I am the best. Vedanta, I don't know, but Da Vinci, I know. Correct, no? See, somewhere down the line, every one of us believe what? That we are the best in something. See, it could be anything. It can be that, sir, you may not find anyone in the world, sir, but one thing I can tell you, integrity, if you want to see, that's me. I may not have the capacities, I may not have those things, but I am very loyal. It's also there. So each one will have their own idea of being the best. Since secretly all of us have this thought of being the best in something, Krishna has to establish, show only the best. Isn't it? That's what they do in the advertisement. All that Krishna is doing is, he is advertisement agent for Brahman. Advertising agent. So advertising agent will do what? He will show only the best. He is not going to show you what are the problem there. He is going to show what is good in that. So he is doing the good. That's all. Like this we can go on interpreting the ideas. This is how you reflect. Right? Now coming to the details now. From 20 he is going to start the details. Verse 20. A very important verse. Right? Yes.
Ahamatma Gudakesa Sarvabhutashaya Sthitaha Ahamadishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanamanta Eva Cha Ahamatma Gudakesa Sarvabhutashaya Sthitaha Ahamadishcha Madhyam Cha Bhutanamanta Eva Cha.
I am the Self, O Gudakesha, seated in the heart of all beings. I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. As I said, it's a very important verse because Krishna is following the Upanishadic tradition. The tradition is, anywhere you are going for details, first give the highest. then go for other things. That is the way they go. So first one, what he is doing here is, in 2 lines he is giving the Brahman from 2 angles. So the first line when he says Aham Atma, right, we keep saying this Mahavakya, this is. The Gita's Mahavakya is this. Aham Atma. I am the self. Where you can locate me? In the heart of all beings. So first one is saying, what is the position of God from the Absolute? Then he is coming to the relative. From the Absolute position, it is Paramarthika Swarupam. The transactional one is Vyavaharika Swarupam. So first line, Paramarthika, Absolute. Absolute stand and relative stand. So every time when we use the word Absolute and relative, what is referred is these 2 positions, Paramarthika and Vyavaharika. Vyavaharika is transactional, which is relative, relatable one. What is a relatable one is the next line. So first I'll explain the second line and then we'll go to the first line. Even though he gives the other way around, we always go reverse. We go from relative to the absolute. So from the relative, what is it? Aham adischa madhyamcha. I am also the beginning, the middle, and also the end of all beings. Anta evacha. I am also the end. So aham adihi madhyaha antaha, of who? Of the Buddhas. All beings. All the beings in the world is this. So here we say why? Because we take God is introduced to us in the starting, is God is introduced as Ishvara, is God. The moment we say God, what is God? God is introduced to us as Jagat Karanam. Remember, any time we use the word God, first step in understanding God is, He is the cause of the world. And then we go into the analysis of the cause. When you analyze the cause, we find there are 2 causes. For any creation, Jagat Karana means he is the cause. Cause means there are 2 types of causes. One is intelligent cause, another one is material cause. Efficient cause and the material cause. Nimitta Kaarana and Upadana Kaarana. There are 2 types of 2 Karanas are there. Then we go into the analysis of God is what type of Karana? Can you say God is Nimitta Kaarana? You say yes, God is Nimitta Kaarana. But then is he only Nimitta Kaarana? Nimitta Kaarana is what? Go to the example, pot maker. There has to be a pot maker and then there has to be clay. Correct? Clay by itself cannot become a pot. If clay by itself can become a pot, then there should not be any clay in the world. All the clay in the world should have become a pot by itself. That is not possible, sir. There has to be someone who is making. So what is the condition of a Nimitta Kaarana? By nature, the Nimitta Kaarana has to be of that of intelligent, conscious being. Correct. It has to be a conscious being. But then there is a limitation there. What is the limitation of the Nimitta Kaarana? The role of a pot maker is only in creation of the pot. Isn't it? Does he have any role in maintenance of the pot? The pot maker? You buy the pot and you break it. You can't go to him, no, again, and claim for damage. Hey, maintaining that pot is not my job. That is, it's not my responsibility. For the destruction of the pot also, I am not responsible. The pot maker's responsibility or pot maker's role gets over the moment it is created. After created, he had nothing to do with it. Isn't it? Suppose if we say pot maker has to be there always with the pot. So every time you buy a pot, what has to be coming along with that? You have to drag the pot maker also with you. You can't buy that pot maker. So Nimitta Kaarana has two things in that. So the moment you say intelligent cause, Nimitta Kaarana, it has two problems in that. Then we say there is a God is also Upadana Kaarana. So God is not only the Nimitta Kaarana, God is Upadana also. So when you say together, He is, you are extending the role of God. So you start as Jagat Karanam. Jagat Karanam means what? He is a creator, means he is a conscious being. So in the Nimitta Kaarana, what is established? God is a conscious being. That is established. Then Upadana Kaarana establishes what? His inseparability with reference to the creation, to the created. Suppose if we say God is only the creator and leave it at that, Nimitta Kaarana only, then creation and the creator stands separate. Creation becomes independent of the creator. So therefore, we say, no, God is also the Upadana Kaarana. Then we ask, is there such a thing possible, sir? That's why the Upanishads give the example of a spider making the web. Its own saliva it uses to make it. So spider is what? Spider is the Nimitta Kaarana. The spider is also Upadana Kaarana. Similarly, if a spider can be Nimitta Kaarana and Upadana Kaarana, why can't God be both? This is the argument of this. Very simple argument. Now, Upadana Kaarana means what? It's a material cause. Can you segregate the material from the creator? Can you remove clay from the pot? Suppose if you remove clay from the pot, what will happen to the pot? You remove pot from the clay. What happens to the clay? Nothing happens to the clay. Correct. Clay remains as a clay. Correct. Nothing is going to happen to clay. So, who is dependent on whom? Pot is dependent on the clay for its creation. For pot to remain as a pot, it is dependent on the clay. Even after the destruction of the pot, the clay remains. Right? Now you read. I am the beginning, the middle, also the end of all beings. So what is he saying? He says, I am the Ishvara, who is a Jagat Karanam. Achha. Now he goes to the first line. First line is the best actually. But, relatable is the reverse only for us. It's easy to go in the reverse order. I am the self. O Gudakesa. Gudaka means sloth, sleep. Gudaka means sleep. Gudaka Ishaha Gudakeshaha. Isha means Lord. He had a lordship over the sleep. Means what? He has conquered that Tamas. That is the meaning of it. Sleep. Gudakesha is the name of a beautiful name for Arjuna. Very unique name of Arjuna. Best amongst the Kurus can be told to anyone, depending on whoever is there. Right? But this qualifications, Savyasachin is another one. Savyasachin means the one who can wield the bow and arrow, both the hands. That's Savyasachin. Imagine if I bowl right hand batting like Tendulkar, left hand batting like Lara, one batsman. How will you bowl to him? Imagine you have to bowl. Usually what we keep is, we know this guy is a right hand batsman, means we can set a field. When the bowler is taking a run up, this fellow changes his stance and stands as a left hand batsman. And when he stands as a left hand batsman, we have seen that people, switching. But then they know only one stroke to play. When they switch, 1 or 2 strokes maximum. Like reverse sweep, they do. Reverse sweep. They do all that. Those things you can do, or, whack. That's about it. But imagine one batsman who can play like, if he is taking a stance, one way he plays like Tendulkar, another way he changes like Lara. Imagine a bowler. Right arm, he will bowl like Brett Lee. Left arm, he will bowl like Wasim Akram. Now, when he is taking a run up and coming, how will you decide what is he going to do? At least bowler they have to inform, no? Isn't it right arm? Can he change after that? Not allowed. Batsman can change. Batsman need not. Because that is, he takes a chance. Imagine a batsman like that. That is Arjuna. So he will be shooting arrows. Right hand he will get tired. He will change, left hand he will start shooting. Equal strength. Both Savyasachin. That's another name of Arjuna. Like that, very many names are there. He gives in the GITA. One of this is beautiful name. Gudakesa. Means Gudaka means sleep. The one who has conquered that inner sleep. The sleep doesn't mean literally sleeping. Conquered. He can sleep. He has that mastery over Tamas. Arjuna, understand. I am the self. This is a Mahavakya. This is to be just a beautiful statement. In the 13th chapter he is going to explain. We'll go there, we'll explain that. Explanation is there. Kshetrajñam chapimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am the kshetrajña amongst all the kshetras. The kshetras is what he is referring here as the heart of all beings. I am the kshetrajña as the conscious self in that. So I am that consciousness. I am the self. Yeah. So he says, I am the self seated in the heart of all beings. why are you looking outside? I am there in all beings. When I am there inside all beings, I am inside in you also. Capture me there. Don't keep looking outside. That is the message. So first he says that to Arjuna, don't look outside, look inside. So use that. It's a declaration. Remember. Now, suddenly in the first line, you may be thinking, why he is not explaining? Because it is a declaration. In declarations, there cannot be any explanation possibilities. You see, he declares, I am that. It's like saying, imagine someone walks in and asks, who's Ishwaran? I am Ishwaran, they say. I am declaring that I am Ishwaran. Imagine all of us are quiet. Find out. Find out. Two chances are there. 50-50. That we think because we are Indian. Imagine that fellow is coming from Japan. He will not know whether it is a masculine gender or neutral gender or feminine gender or no gender. Now, how he will identify? Declare, no? Declarations can be either accepted or rejected. Cannot be analyzed. You see that? So he says, I am the self, that's it. There is that consciousness inside you, that I am. Almost he says that Prajnanam Brahma. I am that Brahman in the form of Prajnana. That's what he says. The highest declarations given in the Upanishads. Then he gives an explanation. He understands. Arjuna is in no position to follow what he is speaking. So he is giving that explanation. What is the explanation? I am that Ishvara. So the moment he says, I am that Ishvara, immediately everything understood. What is it? Ishvara is equal to Jagat Kaarana. Jagat Kaarana is equal to Nimitta plus Upadana Kaarana. Therefore, I am the beginning, middle and end of all beings. Right. 21.
आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः ज्योतिषां रविरंशुमान् मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि नक्षत्राणामहं शशि.
Of Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of luminaries, the radiant sun. I am Marichi of Maruts. Of asterisms, I am the moon. Now he is going to the details. Now what he is doing is suddenly you will see the shift. Now there's no philosophy and all that. Now it's all only details. Now only thing is you will be wondering, what is this? Adityas, I am Vishnu. What is this Adityas? Now Adityas is the 12, sons of Aditi. Or another way you understand that is, every month has a name, right? Similarly, they have a presiding deity for every month. Names we know: January, February, March, April, May, June, all that. Right? Like that, these people have a different ones. So here, for every month, there is a deity who is presiding that. So of that he says, I am Vishnu. Vishnu is the deity of this spring. The spring in India during his time, right? January. Now there is no spring period we have. In England, if you go and say spring, there it is when? April. For us it is different, for them it is different. So in each geographical place, the things will vary. So essentially what you need to understand is this. There are 12 of that. The best period is this. Just after the starting of the cycle. This is the I am this. Now what he gave in verse number 20 is knowledge. Remember, that is jnanam. What he is giving here is not jnanam, it is upasana. So 20 jnanam. With that jnanam, you have to do this upasana. That is the idea. So don't start this upasana practices and all that without that understanding. What is understanding you should have? The right method is to look within. But since I am not able to look within, I have to look outside. When I look outside, what I need to understand is the whole thing is him only. But since I cannot see the whole, I am looking into the particulars. All this is knowledge. With that knowledge, you should practice this upasana, or what these people loosely call as meditation. Right? This is or bhakti, devotional thing. So every time you see this of Jyotisham, all the things, the sources of light, luminaries, means all the light possibilities. What are the light possibilities? You have sun, moon, stars, fire, lightning, all natural ones, created ones. In those days, there is no tube light, LED lamp, this one, that one, and all that wasn't there. So they have not added all that. So this is the created ones and the natural ones. Of all those things, what I am the sun. Why? The biggest. Why he is big? Because he is the closest. Because there are stars which are far, far bigger than the sun, which is also a star, actually speaking. But the moment sun comes up, what happens? Everything goes. So that's what he is giving here. I am that Ravihi. I am that sun. Marutam Marichi. Aham. You have to keep adding that aham everywhere. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. Now Maruts, there is a problem we have. Maruts means the wind gods, various wind gods. In the Vedas, they give two different accounts. In one, they give account of 77 Maruts. In another, they give 49 Maruts. Now, don't worry about it is a division and all that. It's just a division. Now, if you come to this modern one, the modern one they have divided. These people are divided, wind into 12 different brackets are there. Different, speed, frequencies. When it is moving, they give different names to it. So there they have, of all that I am, that soft, tender breeze. That's called Marichi. And Marichi is the first god. Of all these wind gods, the chief one, the captain of that team, is this fellow, Marichi. So therefore he says, I am Marichi. So every time you get a breeze, you should be reminded of what? Wind gods. Wind gods, Marichi. Marichi, Krishna. That's all. Simple. Ishvara, whatever you understand that as. Nakshatranam aham sashi. All the nakshatras. Nakshatra is the 27 nakshatras, Ashwini, Bharani, Karti, and all that they are 27. Of that, I am Sashi, because moon is supposed to be the husband. Right? Very refined fellow Krishna is. Look at the refinement of us. When I see all the wives, I am reminded of who? Imagine, of all that I am that lady. Looks very uncultured. Krishna is a very cultured fellow. When I am seeing the wife, I am reminded of husband. So, not here. Focus shifts somewhere else. See, when it comes to the Maruts, what did he do? He stayed there. In that, what is it? Now, suddenly, he sees this, but thought goes to outside. See, this is how you establish thought associations. Remember, in the initial stages of spiritual journey, it is thought association matters. In fact, it is not thought association, it is physical association. That is the starting point. Slowly, that physical association becomes a thought association. Then what happens? You put in conscious effort to disassociate the thought. Peculiar path this is. Rajagovindam, Bhagavad Gita, and Dhyana. In meditation, why we are recommended to choose that mantra Om? No other mantra. Of all the mantras, the chief one is Om. Highest is Om. Why? No thought association possible. But still, we have a knack of creating a thought association. It is the nature of the mind. But by itself, it cannot trigger. Say, for example, I am going to sing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Rama, Ram, 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 Ram. Suddenly you will get the thought of Ravana. Right? Association is there, no? Can you think of Rama without Ravana? Not possible. You will have an association. Or suddenly you will get the thought of this one. Ravana. In between, I got into real trouble because I saw a board, signboard. Casually, I saw a signboard on the road because I was told, keep looking there. So myself and my brother, we were driving. So he told me, "Dai, inge just the side la paakundeva," he said. I said, "I'm driving. Are you looking there or on the road?" Arra. Looking there and driving. There is a board there. Ramana Wine Shop. Ramana Wines. Is the name. I was reading, there was a period where I was reading, very seriously. For about 6 months, I couldn't open that book. Because any time I see Ramana Maharishi's picture, the thought I was getting is the Ramana Wines. Ramana Wines. I said, we should sue that fellow first to change the name. Ramana Wines. Now, they are having a good thought association because the fellow, when he is going to drink, he is thinking of Ramana Maharishi. Great. I buy only from Ramana Maharishi because I am a devotee of Ramana Maharishi. I drink only from there. He is doing. Now, every time I want to think of Ramana Maharishi, I am getting a thought of this. This is called thought association. See, Now he is giving such possibilities for thought association. Don't always think it has to be inside. It can be even outside. That's why he is giving. Akshatranam aham sashi. He says. Why he is giving? Suddenly he is switching over to something outside. Is this 22.
Vedanam samavedosmi Devanamasmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanamasmi Chetana Vedanam samavedosmi Devanamasmi Vasavaha Indriyanam Manaschasmi Bhutanamasmi Chetana.
Of Vedas, I am Samaveda. Of gods, I am Vasava. Vasava means another name for Indra. Of the Devas, I am Indra. Of senses, I am the mind. And of living beings, I am consciousness. Of the Vedas, I am Samaveda. Samaveda has no independent mantras. See, this Vedas division, Vyasa divided that, Vedas, compiled it and grouped it. Before, Vyasa, there's no grouping, there's no clarity on that. Each one was having their own. It's all in different places. He just compiled the whole thing and gave it in a particular format. The format he gave was this. He says, all that in the form of a rik. Okay, to put it in the easy language, poetry. Collected all that and gave. That is the Rig Veda. Don't go by the historians one. History, if you go to, they'll say Rig Veda came first, then Yajurveda came, then Samaveda came, Atharvaveda. This is not our thinking. We don't subscribe to that idea. It's all there. It was there in different places, different families, different people who had identified those mantras and gave it to their successive disciples, and they in succession gave to their disciples, their disciple. In that family, in that group, it was just going on. And it is all in different places. So all that he wants to bring it together. Right. The first volume of encyclopedia came first, or second volume came first, third volume came first. Which subject in the encyclopedia came first? Can you identify that? Volumes you can give. But the subjects were not developed like that, no? The first edition is there, second edition of encyclopedia is there, third edition is there. But the subjects are not, subjects have been there much before even someone who got the idea of making an encyclopedia. Correct? Writing encyclopedia is different. Working on the subject is different. So Vyasa's work is like making an encyclopedia. So there, how did he do that? He collected all the mantras that was prevalent, available during his time, got all that together, which is in the form of poetry, had put it as Rig Veda. Then those things which are all in the form of a prose, almost like more of application oriented things, he had gave it as Yajurveda. Wherever they have one source, Atharvana Rishi. Atharvana is a Rishi name. So he by himself had a huge volume. So he said that entire Veda that will be traced to that one person becomes Atharvana Veda, or whatever is left out. Wherever we are not able to identify, he goes to this one person and finds out. There is a lot of missing pieces here and there. Something missing. I am not feeling it is complete. It seems to be incomplete. Those things and all where to find. So he goes and gets that knowledge from Atharvan. So the whole thing he puts it as a separate one. Atharvana Veda. And then, what is the Sama Veda, sir? Sama Veda is only that Veda with the musical way of chanting the mantra, that's all. You just added a musical note, that's it. That is that Sama Veda. Chanting Sama Veda is very difficult, or reciting it. That's what they say it is not chanting, they call it as singing. Sama Gana. And every god, goddess you have, they always say Sama Gana Lolane, Sama Gana Priya. In fact, one of the name for Vishnu in the Vishnu Sahasranama itself is Samaga. He himself is that Veda. So for the Rig, you give a musical connotation to it, note, you add to it, it becomes Samaveda. So of all that, the one which is so good, we have one person in by Mysore who used to come to our house. He is a Samavedi. He would come whenever we have things in the house. We do some pujas and all that, he would come. We invite him because we are supposed to have people from different Vedas. One person from Rig Veda, one person from Yajur Veda, one from Atharvana Veda, Sama Veda, all the Vedas. We are struggling to find Samavedi. Very difficult to find. Who can sing. That is amazing. So when he sings, it is so nice to hear. So enchanting it is. The calculations and it's not easy. In fact, they say the entire Carnatic music has evolved from that. Notes only. So it's a beautiful one. He says, amongst the Vedas, I am Sama Veda. Amongst the Devas, I've told you, Devas are also Jivas only. Only difference is they have some extra powers. They have certain powers with which they can control and wield the forces. So they are also Jivas, they are not even. But amongst them, he says, I am Indra. The phenomenal powers manifested in the world is the belief, is the expression of the Devas. How do you know they are existing, Sarla? We don't know. You can't see them. We have to go by what they say. The Shastra say there are Devas. So we accept there must be Devas. That's about it. So among them, I am Indra. Why I am the Indra? Who becomes the Indra? The one who has gained maximum punya. He becomes the Indra, that's all. The one who does so much of unselfish actions, with which he gains tremendous amount of punya, he will become Indra. So of all that, I am Indra. Of all those who are doing unselfish things, I am Indra. That's what the meaning is. Indriyanam manaha asmi. I am the mind. Why? Because without the participation, the direction and the support of the mind, Indriyas cannot function. So he is the controller. Mind is that which controls the organs. It is mind that which directs the organs. Organs in the sense of, here we take only the organs of perception. And you can extend it to organs of action also. So in either case, it is the same thing. So, but generally, it is treated only as the what do you call this? The Jnanendriyas, organs of perception. Jnanendriyas is what is referred generally here. Verse 23.
रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुशिखरिणामहम् रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेषो यक्षरक्षसां वसूनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुशिखरिणामहम्.
And of Rudras, I am Shankara. Vittesha of Yakshas and Rakshasas. Of Vasus, I am Avaka. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of Rudras, I am Shankara. There is supposed to be 11 Rudras, referred to be the deities of destruction. Of that, I am Shankara. The list and all those things are there in the book. You can read all that list. 11 names and this is given. Now, 49 Maruts, if you have to keep reading the names. 77 names are there. 12 Adityas and this, all this lists are all given there in the book. You can read it. Of Rudras, I am Shankara. See, it's a very interesting word here. Rudra means the one who makes you cry. That's a Rudra. Meaning, the one who makes you cry, suffer. Rudra. People, that's why those who chant Rudra, mostly they don't know the meaning of it. If you know the meaning, you'll be scared. We don't know the meaning, therefore we think, wow, nice it is. And all that. Imagine Rudra. Who is Rudra? The one who makes you cry. He is a Rudra. But then, of the Rudra, what I am? I am Shankara. Who is Shankara? The one who bestows auspiciousness to you. So, what is most auspicious? Crying is the most auspicious. Suffering is the most auspicious. He destroys, yes. What he destroys and how he destroys. He destroys all your sins by giving you pain. So when you suffer, when you are pained, what you should understand? My papa is getting cleared. One by one it is getting cleared. Thanks. Therefore, we keep him. That's why the beauty is. These two words are very interesting. Rest of it is very simple. What is this? Of the Rudras, I am Shankara, because there are 12 Rudras are there. Of that, there is one of the name is Shankara. Why he picks that one particular name? The one who gives Mangalam, auspiciousness. The one who gives you auspiciousness. Crying, auspicious. How do you link it? That's how they link. Of with Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am Vittesha. Vittesha is a very popular fellow. Only thing is you don't know the name. This is another name of us. Kubera. Right. Kubera Puja and all you do. Kubera Puja. Vittesha is a name. These are celestials, this Yakshas and Rakshasas. That's why we say Ravana is a Rakshasa. And Kubera is his brother. And Kubera is the one who was ruling the things from Lanka as his country. Ravana chased that fellow from there and he took over. He chased him. Actually, that's what happened. Chased him away. And of those people, he is the best. He says, I am Kubera. And very interesting fellow. Kubera is what? Kubera is the lord of wealth. The lordship. But the description of his is what? He is described as ugly fellow. Description of Kubera is very ugly. But he is lord of wealth. What is it? It is for the extroverted people, he is the god. If a fellow is doing Kubera Puja, that means what? He is an extroverted person. Now, what is he worshipping? He is worshipping wealth. Worshipping wealth independently minus Sri. Follow. Why we call it as, why Kubera is portrayed as ugly? Because goddess of wealth is who? Lakshmi. What is she? She is described as one of the most beautiful one. Right? So beautiful she is. So one hand we see wealth with such beauty. On the other hand, we portray God of wealth, Lord of wealth, as ugly creature. That's why they called Lakshmi's best name for Lakshmi is Sri. Because Sri also means poison. You know that. There's another meaning. Sri Kanta, you have heard? One of the name for Shiva. Sri Kanta. Kanta means what? Throat. The one who has held Sri on his throat. What is that he is having on the throat? Poison, no? So what is Sri? Sri means poison also. On one hand, Sri means beauty. Right? On the other hand, it is poison. It depends on what? If you are going to treat it independently, it is ugly, poisonous, extroverted, represented by Kubera. If you treat it as the consort of Vishnu, link Sri to Vishnu and associate, then what is it now? Divine, beautiful, elevating. Suddenly she becomes a guru. She becomes a guru here. This description is monstrous figure. He is a fellow, short, a stout fellow, a pot-bellied guy. Pot-bellied. That's how he is. Always having, counting money. Badrinath, you have. This thing is there. Keeps coin there. In Badrinath, when you go, there is a Kubera is there. You see? Anybody has been to Badrinath? No. Badrinath, when you go, if you go, you should. But not easy to go there. Needs a lot of preparation. So you go there, you will see it. Yes. He has one temple there. There, if you see, he'll be having coins in his hands, counting all the time. Now you see other gods and goddesses. the feet they will have all that. You see Ganesha's picture. All around you will see, coins and jewels and everything under his feet. He doesn't care about all that. That is the way Ganesha is. This fellow is what? All the time counting. Cashier. Extrovert. But of those guys, the best is Kubera. Of the Rakshasas. Now, the example you have to keep is Ravana. Ravana and his clan. This is, entire group if you see. Of all those people, the best is Kubera. Of that. And Pavaka. Pavaka is the, another name for fire. Agni. Pavaka. Means not Pavaka. Pavaka in Tamil means bitter god. It's Pavaka. This is Anala. This is a fire god. That's the name. Because he is supposed to be the mouth of the gods. He's the mouth. That's why we offer everything in the fire. All the offerings are given in the fire. Why? Because anything you want to feed, you feed it through the mouth. No? Want to feed someone, you give it through the mouth. If they are normal. When you are in coma, what do? Drips. You don't send it through mouth. If you are okay, these gods are all, in the normal state. So at that time when you do offering to those people, you have to offer it to the Agni. Why? Because he is the mouth. That's why it's a Pavaka, is the name. He is supposed to be having 8 different forms, are there for him. Of that, the best form is that Anala. The different gods are there. The demigods. Earth, then Dhruva, Soma, Up, Anila, wind, Anala, fire, dawn, Prabhasa, luster, so many things are there. Thus, all those 8 gods are there. For all those gods, who's the chief amongst that is this Anala, fire. His another name is Pavaka. Why? Because he is the mouth. That's why it is. Of mountains, I am Meru. Meru is a mythological mountain. Don't actually look in for that. It's a mythological mountain. Supposed to be the center of the universe. The entire universe is revolving. It needs a center, right? Movement means it needs a center. So the center of the whole thing is that Meru. This is the point. That point, there is a mountain. That is what I am. And that is that, Meru is what they used to churn the ocean. It says, okay, I'll help you to churn the ocean. This, the peaks of North Pole is what is referred to as Meru. The study of Jyotisha, they also refer that as a point of reference. There it is referred as the peaks of the North Pole. The peaks are there. That's treated as the Meru. And he continues. We'll see in the next class.